My name is Pelmos Mashabela. I'm actually contracted by UNISA to run this program. If at all possible, we'll run it until just around November, December. I just want to check who is here and what is it that you do and how would you like to be assisted. The good thing is, because this is the facilitation program, you're welcome to start anywhere where you want to start. Like today, really, I'm going to start at the technical referencing conversation. So if it's okay with you, just shout out who you are and what you do and what is it that you are struggling with up to this far, just to assist also in structuring the tutorial. I have a habit of picking people randomly, but I think today it's really the first day, so we're not gonna do that. So yeah, the ball it's in your court.
My name is Damon Mbinde. I am doing my master's in information systems. So yeah, meanwhile, I'm teaching at a college in Cape Town at Helderberg College of Higher Education. Thank you.
My name is Abigail Managa. I'm doing master's in social work. This is my first time to join this group. Thank you.
My name is Shonisani Chipango. I'm currently completing my master's in inclusive education. I have submitted intention to submit. I'm just polishing up my work so that I can submit for exam. So I hope I will benefit and get something out of this meeting. Thank you, colleagues.
I was saying I'm with the Department of Communication Science. I'm currently doing my master's, and yes, that's
Masters, all. What are you? Masters in what?
Communication Science.
Oh, com science. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Afternoon. My name is Hlobisile Mlemuhi. I'm also registered as a master's in communication science student. But I'm I get stuck. I don't know what to say. I get stuck. I'm so stuck. I don't know.
Let's see how we're gonna unstuck you. But we'll come back to you. Is it repeat your name again? Sorry,
Hlobisile, it's my name.
Oh,
Surname is Mlemuhi. Yes.
We'll come back to you when we are done with the introduction. Hlobisile, you tell us where you are stuck so that we start there. We don't want you stuck. Okay. Let's proceed.
Thanks.
My name is Max Matuane, working for the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Don't blame me for the load shedding. Yes, I've registered for the Masters LLM Labor Law. This is my first time to join the group. Thank you.
Thank you. It's the first time we have a group, actually. So this is our first day. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Prof, and hello to the fellow classmates. My name is Amuhela Magai. I am a legal advisor for the City of Johannesburg, and I'm doing my LLM in corporate law. Thank you.
Yes, I am Busisiwe Rapetswa. I'm a finance clerk at WBHO, and I'm doing my LLM in corporate law as well.
My name is Mpombezi. I'm working from the bank. I'm doing a master's in public administration.
I am Mabuto Ngwenya. I am an accountant at La Roma Accountants, and I'm doing MPhil in accounting science. So I'm doing financial governance.
Hi, Prof. I was just waiting to make sure everyone was done.
You wanted to be last.
Yeah, save the last for me. I'm a vendor manager at BMW, and I'm busy with my MBA, Masters in Business Administration.
And it's very important to introduce ourselves in the way that we do, because it will just show us the diverse and the opportunities that we're going to have when we talk about research, that it really cuts across. It's very exciting to see the diverse nature of students that are at the master's level at the moment. And well, once more, congratulations. I see Nuku. Is it Shelley?
My name is Alcida Rasamene. I work at a higher education institute. I do disciplinary hearings for students. I'm doing an LLM in criminal law and criminal procedure.
My name is Julius Quincy. I'm doing my master's in mathematics education. I'm at the level of collecting data now. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, my name is Shaylee Selepe. I'm doing a master's in agricultural science with UNIS.
My name is Aisha, and I'm doing a master's of science specializing in human physiology.
This is Masiho, and hi everyone. Sorry, I've just joined the session.
Welcome.
And I'm doing, thank you so much. I'm doing master's in industrial psychology, a full dissertation one.
Khobisile, let me come back to you whilst maybe I'm waiting for one or two people to speak. You can take the podium now. You're saying you are stuck. That's important to start off the conversation with before we do the slideshow. Where are you stuck, Khobisile? And why are you stuck?
Ish. Prof, can you hear me?
Yes,
am I audible?
very loud and clear.
Okay. I'm so super confused and I'm at the verge of giving up because I don't know what to do anymore. I'm not decisive in terms of the my research topic. I chose what I wanted, but because of maybe it's not meeting the level where my professor wants me to be. So I don't know, somehow it kind of like makes me stuck because I seem to be going forward, I seem to be stuck, I seem to be moving, I seem to be, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to gather myself. I'm gathering information and all the resources that I can read from the material, and I've started, but I'm not getting the flow that I wanted to move with because I think I was confused by being sent back and forth regarding my research topic. So, yeah, I don't want to say much. I can say much, but only if it's the two of us, not in everybody, not in this podium. So
let me tell you what we should do. This is going to be how we start the tutorial today. We start with what is the problem, because this is what research is. We are not in a classroom where we are going to teach each other. I think we are going to facilitate engagement, throughout. So please feel free to speak, and other people will also be able to assist and share their own experiences, because we are all at the different stages of the work that we do. So yeah, please feel free. So you raised one point that we're going to talk about, the research topic, but you also raised another part where you said there's a toing and froing of the issues, which I think they're very important for what we want to talk about today. But maybe say that which you say you don't want to say much. That's the much I'm interested in.
Say if I could just put it, I don't know, just to simplify it, I could say I do have a direction of what I need to do. I'm just a bit confused because I thought the way I'm going to write my research topic, I got a sort of like I don't know how to put this, but I thought I was in the right track when I thought the research topic must obviously have a conclusion in the end. So then my professor hinted that it shouldn't have a topic. None of the articles have topics and whatsoever. I don't know now. I'm confused. Am I writing an article or a research? A full research, I thought it must have an intro and also in the end a conclusion. So I think if I could decide from that, then that would give me a speed writing that I need just to be more confident. Because now I feel like when I think I'm in the right track, I'm then reminded I'm not in the right track. I don't know.
Okay, what is you have not given us something to work with, right? You are aware that you have not told us the
Okay,
exact.
first of all, Prof, let me ask this: the research proposal or the research as a whole, can it have a conclusion or it doesn't have a conclusion?
The research proposal does. What do you mean conclusion? You mean the way?
Like when
what do you mean the research proposal does have a? Remember, there's a proposal. There's a way to compile a proposal, right?
Yes.
There's a for a lack of a better word, let's call it a template for how to do a research proposal.
Yes.
So what is your question?
In the end, can I have a conclusion to summarize what is it that I've picked up in the research as I was writing it? Or that I don't have to have a topic called conclusion? I can just
but
summarize.
I don't think that can be your source of confusion.
Avoid it all. Like I just want to understand, because I mean I did not confusion, conclusion.
Sorry, I'm saying
I confusing you, sir?
No, I cannot imagine that the source of your confusion for the entire work is whether or not to have a conclusion or not. I don't think you can have a research discussion with your professor. I'm saying I cannot imagine that you will have. I'm not even sure that you'll have a problem with your lecturer. I made the point, Fabisile, that I do not agree that the only source of your confusion with the entire process is the fact that whether or not you should have a conclusion as a heading. Do you want to argue that? That's
no,
exactly
sir,
where
I think
you've got an issue.
Yeah, no, sir. I think you know what my starting point. I think I do have a direction. I mean, I've had lengthy talks with my professor. I'm okay. I think I need to gather myself and regroup myself, and instill the positivity in me again. Maybe after this session, then I will regain that confidence again, because. Yeah, I don't know. There was just so many things that were throwing me back and forth, and somehow they tapped into my.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to allow Mabuto to speak, but I want us to dissect your topic as well as part of today's discussion. But let me come back to you. Let me hear what Mabuto has to say. You have put yourself in the line of fire, which is a good thing because you've got something to start off with.
Okay. Prof, I'm very new in this. I haven't done anything. I'm on my literature review. But on what she is saying, could it be that she wants to have a conclusion of her research before she even does the research? Could it be that she has a preconceived conclusion of whatever she wants to research, that it is this way and I want to prove it that way?
Okay.
Then now she has a problem because her supervisor says, no, you can't have that conclusion now.
Well, yeah, we can argue that, but remember, you are going to be directed by what the data is saying. But however, my understanding of, I see the hand of, okay, is there anybody's hand who's up? I can allow you to speak as well. Or is it Mubinde? Diamond?
Yes. Yes, Master.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. I just want to say what my colleague is going through is quite common. It also happened to me last year when I was applying. I had a list of proposals that I was asked to choose from, which I did. And my proposal was sent. I was accepted based on that proposal, which I sent. But comes January, February, I was told that I must change that proposal to a different one. And that did not go right with me. But because I'm a student, I must follow what my mentors are saying. So I had to change after spending all that time. When I changed that, I was given out of 5 topics, I was asked to choose one because we about 5 in my team, those who are affiliated to one professor. So when I chose the proposal, I sent to her. I said, okay, I'm choosing this, and I started writing. It took me a month or so, up to 2 months. Then I finished. When I sent back to her, she said a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, had already chosen that topic. That was now in March, April. So I had to change. She told me choose another one. I chose another one with difficulty until she accepted last month. It was April. So that's the thing I'm working on. I just want to say this is how it goes, and I've learned that I've gained a lot of experience through what I thought was some kind of bullying or something like that. But this is the way it goes. I just want to encourage the lady that you should just follow what the professor is telling you, because they know what is right. Of course, you also have your own mind, but they know what they are guiding you through. So that's the thing. Because even right now, I was just talking to the statistician today, and she was also telling me that you have to consider ABCD. This is what research is all about. It's not your own, but you have to be guided. And the more you change things, the more experienced you become. So I just want to encourage you, don't worry, follow what she's telling you, and then everything will be okay. We are all going through the same. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much. The only, okay, I see. Okay, Ngwenya, I think you've just, or you wanna have another conversation on this?
No,
Please
not
go
on
ahead.
this. I've got my own problem. Should I say it now or later?
No, keep your problem for a moment. We'll come back to you on that.
Okay.
All I want is what both Hlobisile and Mabunda are saying is what each master student must have had some kind of an experience, and therefore it is a lesson that we must all share and then assist each other. I want to go back to Hlobisile now and say, Hlobisile, if it's not going to be too much, you seem to say initially you were saying you are confused, which is not a problem, but now it looks like you are saying no, actually I am sorted. I would be able to do that which is expected of me. I just need to dust myself up and move on. Am I hearing you to be saying that?
Yes, because I'm trying to take this as positive as I can, just like the previous speaker has said. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. No, we want you to say, it's good for you to really to do that. But I think what we want to do as a part of just learning from each other right now, we need to be talking research in the context of everybody at some point in the work that they do. And remember, we are not at the same level. We'll want to know what are the most common or the most beautiful things to do in research to save time or to do the right thing, if there's something like that. So I would like us to start at the beginning of the process, if you don't mind. Now, what I want you to say is, yes, you were confused. Yes, now it's about self-motivation. You feel that you are ready now to get on with it. But can you just tell us, maybe if you are not comfortable, you can say so. What are you meant to investigate? What are you meant to research?
Okay, lately, because I don't remember how many times I changed my topic, but lately, the topic that I'm going with is the use, the impact. Actually, what I wanted to bring along is there's one colleague who spoke about the reason maybe why my professor was saying why should I draw a conclusion when I have not even completed my research. I would say yes, somehow maybe that's because of that the angle I was going. So my professor was trying to assist me in terms of looking at it in a different way. Because my topic, it's the use, he suggested that maybe I should go with a more simpler research topic. My topic, I wanted to really base it on the impact of social media on high school students, how it affects them negatively. So that's what I wanted to cover. So
Repeat
then my
that,
professor was
social.
like, no, but
Repeat that.
social media,
No,
the impact of social.
was.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying repeat that. Repeat the topic. Social.
The impact of social media on high school students.
Okay, let's hold it there. Can you just hold it there? Can you just hold? You don't mind hold it there. There's the impact of social media on high school students.
Yes, sir.
Right? Can you stop for now? Can you know we are going to come back to you, but you're looking at the impact of social media on high school students.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Let me hear what others have to say about the topic, because it's a very interesting topic. Anybody who wants to jump in on this topic without permission from Khebisile?
I think Thabisile is saying this is what she intended to do earlier on. Then she was asked to do something else, if I heard her properly. So this was her topic that she wanted to do. Then she was advised to change. If I heard her clearly, maybe I didn't get her clearly. Thabisile, did I get you well?
If I may come in, you are correct somehow, because I said I wanted to focus on the negative impact, specifically on the negative impacts that social media has on high school students, how it affects them. But then now my professor then suggested that, no, why don't you go with something simpler? Don't conclude that
I have a
only
question.
negative.
I've got a
also
question
good
for
things
you.
about it.
Yes. I've got a question to you.
I'm listening.
So are you going to be focusing on the high school students in China?
No, in South Africa.
It's not, your topic is not telling me that.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Are you going to be focusing on the impact of social media on high school students throughout the country?
No.
Your topic is not telling me that. Are you getting the discussion now?
I'm getting it. I need to be specific so that at least I can narrow my.
I like
search.
that.
Okay.
You need to narrow your topic so that we know what you are talking about. Are you going to look at are you going to look at high school students from what is the grade now? What do they call it? Grade 8 to grade 12?
Correct, sir.
Are you going to look at grade 8 to grade 12?
Yes, I am going to look at that.
There's millions of them in the country.
Okay. If I focus on one specific school, would that be okay, or do I really have to say which region?
Look, we are not there yet. I'm just trying to show you why your topic is very broad and not researchable, right? Because if you say I'm going to look at the high school, I'm already starting to Google scholarly how many high school students we have in South Africa, and it runs into millions. Is that your target? You see where I'm going with this. So you see, as the more you say no and no, what are you doing? You are beginning to reduce and to make your topic a lot more specific, as you said earlier. Maybe I need to be specific. You getting it?
Yes.
Are you looking at a particular province, or is all the 9 provinces?
I'm looking at a particular province, sir.
Which province will that be? Let's say which province?
I'm in Gauteng.
Yeah, you see again, it then makes it different to say, maybe you are looking at the impact of social media on high school students in Gauteng, right? Now it changes, the topic is changing. Can you see that?
Okay.
Now, what if you say, you asked another question, you said, maybe what if I focus on a particular high school? Isn't that different? Because now you're not saying for the entire high schools. How many high schools do you have in Soweto? In other words, what is the total population of the high schools in the country? Do we know what is the population of the high schools in the country? Maybe that's, I don't know that for now. Do you?
No, I don't, sir.
You see, so that's the first.
So if I narrow,
yes.
Yeah. So my understanding, I need to narrow it down to at least something that is researchable, like specific one school or two school in comparison.
No. You remember, you are dictated by one, whether you'll be able to afford to do the whole of South Africa. If you're not, then you're going to have to choose the methodology that is going to work for you. So you can't even say 2 schools or 1 school or 10 schools. It depends on what you are looking at. So we're not done with you yet, Fevsil. So the number of schools, whether you want to do 1 or 2 or 10 schools is not a question we are asking you. The next question is going to say, when you look at how are you going to measure impact? When you say the impact of that, what is the instrument or the measure that you are going to look at it as an impact? What do you have in mind? Because remember,
I was going to do the...
Yes. Remember, when you say something has an impact, the outcome of the impact can either be what? Maybe a positive impact or a negative impact, right?
Yes.
So you are going to look at impact. Now, how are you going to determine whether the impact is positive and whether the impact is negative? So what kind of instrument are you going to use to measure the impact?
I was looking at doing interviews, obviously with the students and also the teachers, getting their views.
Okay, so you were going to interview, the instrument was going to be, I'm going to interview you and say, look, there's a social media in this country, in this world. How does it impact you? Impact them in the context of what? In other words,
their mental state.
Sorry?
Their mental state, their health, their education, education performance.
Okay. So you want to check so you are now looking at the influence of social media insofar as high school performance is concerned. You see, the point we are trying to say here, Fevsil, I hope you understand, is that the more you probe yourself and ask yourself questions, the more you get clearer as to what exactly are you looking for. So that by the time you go and interview people, you are clear in your mind as to what you are looking for. Are you getting it?
I'm getting it, sir.
Because for me, once you start looking at the impact doesn't happen only because today I just joined Instagram. Just today, I joined myself Instagram. Can you assess impact in my life after just joining Instagram and linking it with my performance? Can you do that?
No, it has to be something that has been happening over time.
You see, so the impact, there's an issue of time associated with impact. So in your case, are you looking at an exposure of these high school students over what time period?
Yeah.
Are you getting it? So I'm trying to say, I'm not on the side of your professor here, but I'm trying to say, you need to sit down and say, is this what I want to do? Or maybe I'm looking at something else. And once you figure out this is actually what I'm looking at, then the topic becomes more researchable. Because you by your own admission, an impact is something that happens over time. So therefore, I need to have been, I'm not even sure whether the school that you want to choose or select will have the kind of social media exposure for that time that you require. So in other words, if you say you must have been exposed to 5 years of social media, how are you going to select those high school students who have been exposed to that kind of social media? I'm not even asking you which social media we're talking about, right? Because social media on its own, it's a concept that needs to be defined. So just before you say, no, I think I'm sorted now, we just wanted to see if, and I hope other students are able to hear where we are going with the choice of a research topic. We'll talk about the choice of a research topic now. That we're listening in when we're talking to Hlobisile to say, how did they find choosing a topic? Was it an easy exercise, or is it something that you thought, you know what, this is really very easy to do? Anyone who wants to share the experience of choosing a research topic before we delve into it? It's the most important step, by the way, for any researcher to think about, and it does get quite hectic. As I chose, I think there was somebody who said they're already ready for preparing themselves for the exam. Maybe they can share the experience on the choice when they were choosing a topic. I see Binder's hand is up.
Yes, I now thank you so much, Prof, for the explanation. You've really explained it. You know, when my supervisor, my professor, said I must change the topic, I just agreed, but I never understood. I was not 100% in agreement, but I just followed. But with your explanation now, I see that I think my topic might have been too broad, or it was going to put me under a lot of pressure for me to have it narrowed to the right way. So now I understand why she said no, change, and then she gave me other options to look at. I think you have explained it very, very clearly, because it's not easy. It's not. And yeah, I get it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Mubind. And I'm not trying to say, guys, your topics are not researchable, but I'm saying, as you do research, you're going to have to improve your topic. Sometimes the topic that you start with is not the one that you're going to end up with. Let me just go on and say, today we're just really testing concepts. I noticed Chifango's hand. I will come back to you just now, Chifango. Let me test a concept. You know, there is something we call units of analysis. So in other words, when we do the analysis, what is going to be our focus area? Now, if I go back to Hlobisile, I would say, to me, it sounds like you're saying students, high school students are going to be your units of analysis. So you're going to look at high school students. That is why it's important to say, which high school students are these that you are going to focus your analysis on? Anybody wants to discuss a little bit on the units of analysis in their research topic? Chifango, you can start with that as you take.
Good evening once more, colleagues. I like the way that you have presented this issue of the topic as to how to select the topic that you are going to be researching about, because if your topic is not specific, you are going to leave the people who are going to read your research when you are done with a lot of questions. So should you choose a research topic that is not too broad, like you are specific on what you are going to be researching about, it becomes easier for you when you look for information. Like in her case, she was not specific on which high schools is she focusing on and in which areas is she going to collect the data to make her research rich. So I'm happy in the way in which you have experienced, you have explained it to her, and I hope that it will be helpful to the others who are still on the proposals stage, because as we are speaking, I'm going to be busy with my research proposal for my PhD. It helped me a lot, but I was not in a scenario where my supervisor requested me to change the topic that much, because my topic, he said that it was straight to the point, I was able to go and collect data and do whatever steps that were supposed to be done in masters accordingly. So research topic is very important when you choose your topic, because I'm glad that we are talking about the research topic today, because it also gives you guidance when you go to the sampling of the participants and all that. Because if you are not specific, which means you have to go broad, you have to, if you are talking about high school, like high schools, we are not sure as to which high schools are we talking about. Are you going to talk about in your research? Now, if you are specific, when you do your sampling, when you continue, it will be easier for you to sample a limited number of people who are going to be able to give you enough information about what you are going to write about after collecting data. Thank you so much, Prof. and colleagues.
Thank you very much. Again, colleagues, I'm saying to you, this is a session where we engage on research. So there is no particular order. It's about where we want to start and where we want to end. For those of you who think, oh, look, I'm already at the data collection method, I don't need to be talking about the selection of a topic, please bear with us, because as I said, I mean, we're at different stages of learning. So hopefully this was not been seen as a wasted opportunity. And hopefully for Hlobisile, it does give you some food for thought at the moment. Hlobisile, you can have a say on this. You were our guinea pig.
Yes. No, I understand very well, sir. The reason why when I started earlier on, if you can recall, I said I had to change. I thought what I had in the beginning was a niche topic. I was already narrowing down. Like for instance, I wanted to first talk about. I proposed to talk about the SABC currently after Section 189, after the failures of COVID-19 and the Section 189. Then I was discouraged to go on with that topic because apparently it was not going to have so much beef inside it. It was going to just be a vague, or it was going to just be a 2-pager or something like that. That's the view that I got. Then I had to change from that. At that time, I really knew that okay, I was going to focus on one organization about this and all that. So when it came to the high school, obviously I know the high school I want to go to, but I was not too specific in terms of my research topic. So thank you so much. I know what I'm supposed to do to go sort out my research topic so that I can narrow it down and know where to start in terms of collecting all my data.
Thank you. We're going to do the same for others as we go along. Please just be comfortable. This is a learning opportunity, and the more we share, the better. What we wanted, maybe we can go into just 1 or 2 issues in relation to what we want to talk about a little bit today. We won't finish the agenda, is enough for the day today.
Prof.
Yes.
Sorry, Prof.
Please go ahead.
My name is Abigail. I raised my hand. I think there's a problem in my side, but let me just say, confirm what you have said with Hlobi. I also in a stage of writing proposal. Then my topic was about the impact of domestic violence. So whatever that you have explained to her, my supervisor said to me, he was asking me how I'm going to measure the impact of domestic violence. And because I was looking at the issue of the impact, it's more on children of the parents who are victim of domestic violence. So he asked me to say how I'm going to measure the impact, but I end up changing the topic. So when you explain now, I do understand why the changing of the topic, that you will end up not having the first topic that you were intending to research. So for me, I think this helped me a lot. I'm also one of those people who are stuck because it's long. I'm from University of Venda, now I'm here. I need to do this research and I have to do a lot of things. So I was so stuck and not understanding what to do. But at the end of the day, I have chosen one of the topics to say I have to do because I'm working with parents, doing mediation, drawing parenting plan. So I end up changing my topic from the impact of domestic violence to mediation in social work, in social work, and factors that contribute to parents' failure to follow the parenting plans in a district in Gauteng DSD district or region, Johannesburg metro region. So I feel that it really helped me a lot to understand what I'm going to do, because I feel I stuck in terms of receiving the literature review. I try to send the request to library, but so far I'm still not having enough of the information that I need. So I feel stuck, but I think when you are going on, I will be able to understand more about the research.
Okay, we're not going to let you go. Again, it looks like I'm glad that we are starting where we're supposed to start, on choosing a researchable topic, and we will just focus on those 7 guidelines. But before you go, let me ask the question, and I'm not asking you in your personal capacity, but I'm asking students in this platform.
Yes.
So your topic now is mediation. You said it's mediation in social work.
Social work contributing to parents' failure to follow the parenting plan ordered by court in Johannesburg region.
So are you suggesting that there are parental failures? You're already assuming that there's parental failures, right?
Yes.
So you're saying parents are failing. All you want to do now is, what are those contributory factors?
Yes,
where do you draw that assumption from?
I draw this assumption from what I'm seeing from the clients that I'm working with, that most of the cases that are for mediation, you can find that the parenting plan is being drawn by court and being granted an order. But the case, it will repeat coming, amending those parenting plans. And when you sit down with both parents and show them to say you have agreed on 1, 2, 3, but you are doing the opposite. So I wanted to find what is the cause, what is the problem that caused them to not to follow what they have agreed upon.
Why don't you look at that? Why don't you look at the very same question you are asking now? Is the question that you should be asking. Like, you're asking the question, you want to know why is it that they are not following the parental. So is that the question you're asking them? In other words, you say, here is a parental plan, you are not following it. Isn't this what you're saying? I don't know the parental plan that much. I'm just taking you on what you're saying, that there is a parental plan that is being agreed to. Is it the parental plan imposed by the courts or drawn by yourselves?
It's a sort of agreement between 2 parents who are fighting over the child. And then when they agree, when I'm with them, I go back to court and report, so that the magistrate must granted the order to say, okay, you have a visiting rights and contact. You are a primary caregiver of the child who stay with the child. So it's what they agreed. But still, when there is that agreement, it can be both who are still saying no, I'm not comfortable. They don't follow what they have said they will follow.
Yeah, so basically you want, so your interest, your curiosity is, why is it that generally, maybe it's a general, I don't know whether it's general or specific matter, but you want to understand why is it then that in such situations where they sit, they agree, after mediation, they turn around and not comply with their own plans. You want to understand that.
Yes.
So I'm saying maybe that is the question that you want to, because the only people who can tell you their reasons will be the very same people who are sitting in the plan, isn't it? Who are part of the plan.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that. Yes, it makes sense, but it means where I am now is that you are going to ask the primary, you're going to generate this from the primary sources. For example, the people who are affected by the plan themselves.
Yes.
So yeah, we will have a discussion again on this, but maybe let me move on. I see Flobisile's hand is up. I just wanted to move on 2-3 slides before we lose track of the focus area for now. Flobisile, you can go ahead.
No, just a quick one. Thanks for the lady for bringing it up, because that was also the question I was asked. You're already assuming or concluding that the social media is bad for the high school student. It's affecting them on their career. So yeah, I also needed to think hard about that. So that's where I'm saying, when I said I'm stuck, I didn't know now what to proceed forward with, whether change the whole negative thing and just put in the good use, or reflect both. Yeah, I just thought I should just bring that up.
Yes, you see, if you start formulating a problem in the negative, it does have difficulties going forward, because what you are asking, so I don't see your name. I see your name is more written in the student number. I hope you don't mind, and your hand is still up.
Let me lower. My name is Abigail.
Oh, Abigail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe next time, if you can, Abigail, just put your name on. We don't want to call you by a number. So okay, you see, Abigail, I'm saying I understand you to be saying, I'm understanding you to be saying, you have a mediation capability, from your social work point of view. In other words, where there are disputes between parents, and it looks like it's a parental dispute, it's not just couple disputing. You then sit somewhere, you mediate between them, and in the process of mediation, you then have them to sort of just have some kind of a, let's call it an agreement for a lack of a better word for now. So they sort of agree that, okay, the following conditions we will comply with, so those conditions are then taken into a judicial officer to sort of legitimize them. Now they get legitimate, and they're like, these are the conditions that both of you are agreeing to, but then they turn around and not comply with those conditions. So your interest is now to establish whether, why is it that, people, especially parents, agree to certain conditions, but they tend not to comply with the very same conditions. So you want to understand from them, why is it that they do that?
Yes.
And obviously there will be an interest as to, now that you may want to better the conditions, or to whatever the outcome of that process will be. Let's hold it there for now, and then we have got enough time to engage on it. But I'm just trying to say, maybe instead of failure, you could look at issues around the extent that they do not comply, because I'm not sure what is the expectation when they've got that agreement. The expectation is they must live by those conditions, right?
Yes.
Now, let's just move on now and say, let's assume that the topic is fine. We will now come back to it because we still have enough time. But I just wanted us for today maybe to look at one or two things. And maybe before we do that, let me just ask for your indulgence that we take a 3 minutes just body break to transition into into what we can talk about today. Welcome back. Let me see, maybe just a second to see if everybody is back. You know, don't want anybody to be left behind. Looks like we still all in. Thank you very much for the indulgence. I think it's very, very helpful to really look at things not as outsiders, but as students experiencing the things that we do. It helps quite a lot. It's very easy for us to sit here and talk about other topics and other issues, you know, which we have got no direct interaction with than to really discuss the things that we should be focusing on. So I think this, to me, session was very, very empowering. But let's just look into some kind of a theoretical discussion a little bit, so that we don't, you know, engage more on nuances all the way. But there are a few things that I want to share with you, you know, as researchers. Now, first thing is that we all know that at the level at which we are studying, research has proven to us that every 45 minutes, you know, you need to give people a little bit of a break. So beyond that, it's no longer helpful to proceed. So please, let's work within those parameters where we give ourselves just a little bit of a break so we can recharge and continue. So that's how we will try to work in the next few months that we'll be working together. So please don't be upset when we give each other a break. Research tells us that breaks are good to get people to recharge. Research shows that many of our intuitions are wrong. You know, we all have intuitions, not because we are stupid, but because without appropriate data, time, and critical thinking, we don't always understand how things work. So we need data that is appropriate, we need time, and we need critical thinking. So as a researcher, you have to rely on those three possible commodity, you know, data, time, and critical thinking. Because our brains filter out most information and highlight that which help us get through each day. So in your brain, we naturally seek out stories that we agree with, which makes sense to us. So what people are comfortable with sometimes are stories that we find agreeable and that which they make sense to us. So that's human nature. For instance, many of us believe that vitamin C helps to prevent the common cold. It doesn't. We can function very well on 6 hours of sleep. People believe that we can't. Spanking children is good for them. It is not. Data is available for researchers, for scientists, and the public to check and challenge all these belief systems. So although we believe in them, but it doesn't necessarily make it that correct from a research point of view. So contrary to common beliefs, research showed that no, death penalty does not deter violent offenders. When people are angry, they said, let's kill them. But research shows that even if you kill them, that does not deter violent offenders. No, rapid response to calls for does not increase arrest. Yes, it's good that they must respond rapidly. No, random visible policing does not reduce general crime. So when you see the police all the time, does not. So that's what research show us, you know. And these are the things that we would like you as researchers to become familiar with as you build your career. Research tells us what works. The certainty of arrest or sanction can reduce crime. So if we show that there's going to be an arrest and there's going to be sanction, crime can be reduced. Yes, intentional and focused police patrols can reduce crime. So in other words, if police are driving intentionally and they're focused on what they're doing, that can reduce crime. When people believe police are fair, they're more likely to trust and cooperate with them and obey the law when police aren't around. So all those things make the police work more credible. It does not necessarily mean it is right or wrong. It is just to say, if you rely on this kind of data, you know what will work. So this is what research unfortunately does. And I think earlier on, Diamond, you are saying it, that sometimes we want to fit our thinking into research when the data is the one that must drive how we should interact with the information that is presented before us. Now, let's look at how research is defined. And this is, to me, is very important, so that we all try as hard as possible, this is, you know, as hard as possible as researchers, to have an understanding of what is it that we are trying to do. This is not to suggest to you that this is the only definition, but it's just to create an opportunity for you to understand the work that you are doing. And by the way, just so you know, this country is in dire need of researchers. So we are very proud and happy to see you, you know, as master students, and moving some of you into PhDs and so on. It is important that you really join this journey. Lonely, yes. Tough, yes. Hardworking, yes. Confusing, yes. So all those things are part of the journey that you're embarking on, and it is very soon going to be dawn on you that you're not going to have a lot of friends, you know, because you've got so much work to do as you grow into this profession. So research output is textual output, where research is understood as original, as systematic investigation undertaken in order to gain new knowledge and new understanding. So with research, all you are doing is you are not only just building the body of knowledge where you're working, but you are gaining new knowledge and new understanding, whether it's about high school students, whether it's about teaching mathematics differently, whether it's about science in terms of physiology, or is an industrial psychology. When you do research, you gain new knowledge and you've got a different understanding, sometimes even a deeper understanding. So uncritical synthesis of literature, where you just collect literature, you do literature review, but uncritically, without contributing any new insight to existing knowledge, does not fall within this definition of research. So in other words, you can't just go and collect all literature and you are not critical about it and you say this is research. It's about trying to collect, synthesize literature, but critically, so that you can contribute new insight to that knowledge yourself. You can tell us, look, did you know that when you expose young people at a certain age to this kind of social media contributes towards the following? You know, now that you are telling us that, you are creating new knowledge to us. But if you are not going to be critical on that, it is just really anybody can do that. So peer evaluation of the research is considered a fundamental prerequisite of all recognized output, and is the mechanism of ensuring and thus enhancing quality. So in other words, where we are now, this kind of work that we are doing, where we are attending to each other, listening to each other, arguing with each other, this is part of just building an understanding that the work that you do in research needs to be evaluated by your peers. In other words, they need to either agree with you, differ with you, or say nothing about it, but it's the kind of work where you grow. I'm sure today, just by listening to what Abigail was saying and listening to the Hlobisile story, we are able to pick up one or two things that otherwise, if you were just by yourself, you may not have picked them up. So this is going to be a platform, ladies and gentlemen, where we need to really take each other up on some of the discussions that we have. It is not intended to destroy the little confidence that all of us have, but it is actually to try to push all of us beyond the boundary. So we must start thinking outside the box. Even if you are from Northwest in the medical fraternity where they were putting those kids in the box, they were thinking outside the box. So you need to be really stretched. You need to be stretched. And I'm saying thinking outside the box, tongue in cheek, not the one in the Northwest medical clinic that we've just witnessed. The good thing with being a researcher is that you've got no boundaries. Research is about everything. You can research anything. You can research anything. There are no boundaries. You know, that's the beauty of being a researcher. You've got no boundaries. I mean, there are people here who are saying they're doing, you know, LLM on labor or anything, because it is the way in which we build new knowledge, new ideas, solutions, and solutions. So I hope, Nokuthula, you are not saying no comment because you are not yet in the spirit of research. In research, the last time when we were here, we were even talking about the state capture, the Zuma administration. We talk about anything. No suggestion and idea is not taken on board here. This is the platform, because otherwise then we would not be where we are as researchers. I hope that comes across well. Okay, let's then look at where we are today. The difference between scientific and non-scientific. What we are doing, ladies and gentlemen, is that you're trying to move yourself from the non-scientific to the scientific. So the journey, therefore, is, if you look at what are the non-scientific realms, they are not wrong. We are not saying these are wrong. We are just saying these are all non-scientific. So that does not suggest that, oh no, now when we go home, we're going to tell somebody, yeah, but that's non-scientific. It's not wrong. It's just not scientific. So the difference between now, all what you'll be doing from here on is to be on the scientific realm. So in other words, you're moving yourself out of the non-scientific engagement into the scientific engagement. And the scientific engagement have only all these three areas. Let's look at the things that we consider non-scientific. Authority. Somebody's going to talk to you with a whole lot of authority. And authority can be authority in terms of, oh, I'm your parent. Oh, no, I'm your boss. Oh, no, I'm your professor. Oh, no. So those are authority. It does not necessarily mean it is scientific. It just means the person has the right authority. I'm sure sometimes when you talk to people, you listen to this person, it's like, wow, you know, the person has got so much authority. It does not necessarily mean it's scientific. It just means you've got authority. The other area of non-scientific realm that is very common is the opinion of peers. Sometimes you want to do something and you put that into the presence of peers, and the peers then advise you and they give you their opinions, and then you sort of start moving as per your peers' opinions. It does not necessarily mean that is scientific. It simply means it is non-scientific and you believe in what they're saying. Traditions. You know, we grow up doing this, or this is how the company does this, or this is how UNISA work, or this is how my family do things. Those are traditions, respected and complied with. People do them, but it does not necessarily make them scientific. Remember, when we say non-scientific and scientific, we are not saying it is wrong. We are just saying there's a difference. So it is for you now to start understanding what is the difference between the non-scientific and the scientific issues. So traditions, for example, is not wrong, it's just not scientific. Debates. I mean, we sometimes listen to a lot of debates, whether it's economic debates, whether it's a political debates, you know, whether it's social debates, or whether it's just student debate amongst themselves. They are there, or community debates. Those are non-scientific features that are very common amongst us, and they are there, and we live with them. We accept them, and they are there for a reason. Accidental observation. You know, by accident now you start seeing that. You know, I have accidentally noticed that between 4 and 6 we've got a load shedding situation. It is not something that you sit down and you systematically observe. It's just something that, you know, hit you, and now you develop curiosity out of it. So from all these non-scientific issues, you can actually start, you know, build curiosity that can lead you into the scientific realm. Now, what are the scientific issues? 3 things. Here, when we talk about scientific things or science, we mean there's a systematic observation. So your observation is not accidental, it's not haphazard, it's systematic. You've been observing something on a systematic level. So I can observe it and you can observe it, and we'll almost come to similar kind of conclusions if we like. There's control. So control then suggests that you don't just, you know, you don't just observe everything and allow everything else to come into the feature. You control what you are looking into. I mean, you would very soon realize that there's internal and external control. So you control it. It's almost like it's a controlled environment. You know, I'm not interested in the Chinese high school students. I'm not interested in the Japanese high school students. Neither am I interested in the students who are in Mpumalanga. So I'm controlling the environment so that at least whatever outcome that I'm going to come out there are scientific enough that they can be challenged scientifically. And replication. You're going to hear about this quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the year. Replication for now, let's just agree that it means you can reproduce the same results. This gives you an opportunity where if you follow my journey and I follow your journey and you say, this is what you do, we must come to the same kind of conclusion. If we come to different conclusions, it's not to say it's wrong, but it's say we need to then look at what is it that was not done in the way that was part of the research design and the methodology that was applied at the time. Now, when we look at the scientific realm, ladies and gentlemen, we look at systematic observation, control, and replication. Can I, when I follow you, when I follow your footsteps exactly as you have done, come to the same conclusion? If I don't, then we look at the issues around control, we look at the issue around systematic observation and replication. What is it that I have done which is different from you? Pretty much like, you know, sometimes we make, you know, examples in research that if somebody gives you something, say, use it this way, and this is the only time that you must use it, and it does not give you the desired results, when you go back to the person who gave it to you, you need to then say, look, I used it the same way that you said I must use it and I'm getting a different result. What could it be? So those are the internal control measures that we are going to have to talk about. Nothing wrong with it. We're just saying this is where science comes into play. Is there any question so far? So if anything, ladies and gentlemen, just remember that we're talking about the systematic observation, control, and replication. As I said, these are the concepts that are going to be used quite a lot in the course of our engagement with research. So look at your own research now and say, okay, you know, is there any systematic observation on my units of analysis? Well, maybe I do, yes, maybe no, maybe not yet. Is there control? Am I able to control the space and the units of analysis? In other words, I know exactly that I'm looking at people between the ages of this and this, and not anything more that can come in and sort of dilute my studies, you know, those kind of things. Is this, if I give this proposal to someone else and I say, go and do the following, will they arrive at the same results? If not, what is it that I need to do to make sure that they can arrive at the same results? So this is what is going to occupy a lot of our time during this course of the program. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You've, as usual, explained it extraordinarily, and it's very, very much understood. I would like to understand more about units of analysis. So you mean what you mean? Whether you mean the managers or what? Just elaborate more about that, sir.
Sorry, you broke a little bit. I lost your question. You wanted to understand a little bit more about,
and more on the units.
Or on the units of analysis. Okay. We are not going to go into. Yes, we are not going to go deeper into it for now. Please accept the explanation that I can just give for the purpose of this question for now. So basically,
okay, thank you.
It's about when you are going to study, when you go and you want to study, there is some units of analysis that you're focusing on. For example, if you're going to study people, you would say, is it students? And if you say students, you would say, which kind of students? Maybe is, let's use for today's example, high school students, right? So in other words, the analysis, the units of analysis will be high school students. So anything else that we are going to learn from the study is going to revolve around high school students. You get it? So we are not going to be hearing about high school teachers. We are not going to be hearing about high school parents, high school security, and all the other issues, because the units of analysis, in other words, the focus area of the, the target here is high school students. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does make a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
In other words, we are saying don't miss the target. When you talk to people, and now you're raising a different debate. No, but now you off ramp. In other words, you're losing touch with your units of analysis. Your focus is none other than that which you said you will focus on, because there's going to be a connection between the units of analysis and what we call internal validity. So you're focusing on students. Don't now deviate and focus on something else. For example, if somebody is going to study whether or not Hammanskraal water has cholera, what are they going to do? They're going to test the quality of the water and the surrounding up to a point where they then say, all they want to establish is that, is there a correlation between the water in Hammanskraal and the virus of cholera? Not about whether or not people in Hammanskraal are going to vote this way or that way, or not whether or not people in Hammanskraal are unemployed or don't have social grant. You get it? It's about whether or not, it's not even about the people there per se. It's about the relationship between the water and the virus. You get it?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Well explained.
Okay. So it is important in your own study also to look at, what is my units of analysis here? Am I looking at whether the people are happy with me being in the area, or is it about whether this water that I've got here in front of me in this jug has a virus that can cause cholera? And that's all what you are focusing on. So we'll get to those kind of details at the right time, but this is just trying to simplify what the units of analysis can be. Because sometimes what researchers do, they start with this, but then they end up raising other issues that have got nothing to do with the primary purpose of the engagement. So what we are trying to do today, ladies and gentlemen, maybe to wrap up our program for the day today, is that this will, badly as it may look, is what we are going to be focusing on throughout the year. So we're going to be looking at all this that you see there. Now, this is an adapted a thematic presentation of the iterative 7 steps of research. So when somebody says you're going to do a research proposal, other people follow this kind of steps, others follow different steps. We just thought this one from, that is adapted from Liddy and Omrodi are what we can use. You can use other processes, really not necessarily processes. So remember, research proposal is almost like a cyclical process. You start here, you go back, you come forward. So it's not necessarily linear that, oh, now you can't go back. So that is why initially we were saying you can start with this topic and end with another topic. It's allowed. So the beginning of it, you end up according to what data you have. Now, here, what I do basically to take you through 7 steps, or the 7 steps of the research process this way. And again, I just want to tell you, this is not the only steps that are there. So you are allowed to get other steps from other sources. Anything that works for you. But you're going to then come to a point where you realize that at the end of the day, the processes of conducting research are based on what you call research methods, research design, and research methodology. So certain things work better for you. So I would challenge you now as students to start looking into those kind of engagements of research processes. The first process is that which we started off with in the morning, a research problem or a research topic. What is it that has been unanswered as a question? In other words, what are you trying to answer as a question for yourself? What is it that is giving you sleepless nights? What is it that you're interested in? What is it that you feel, you want to solve as a problem? Once you figure out that, you've got a research problem. It doesn't have to be scientific. It just has to be something that worries you, that concerns you, that is of interest to you. That, it doesn't really have to be well crafted at the beginning. So you all, as you are seated here as master students, have a problem or a topic or an unanswered question or a situation that you feel you want to come with a solution on. Initially, it's very broad and vague and at times even wide and so on. As you narrow it, then it becomes something that you can start working on with. Once you have dealt with a research topic or a research problem, we'll use this interchangeably, because others will say it's a problem, others will say it's a topic, but all we are saying is that have an idea of what you want to investigate. Then once you've done that, you need to then come up with your aim or your goal. What is it that you want to achieve? If you want to go and study high school students, you have got something that you have in mind that you want to achieve as a goal. That then becomes the goal of your research. So I'm worried about this, and now I go out and I formulate the goal that I want to go out and achieve. So it might be a problem that there is as I said, if we use the Hammanskraal situation, is that people there have got a situation which is a health situation and they're dying. So the goal then is to make sure that you solve that problem. You completely diminish or completely demolish the virus that causes cholera. So that might be the goal that you are. There might be much more goals than this, So you need to have a goal as to what is it that I want to achieve. And as a student, even your goal, other than the fact that you want to do well and submit and pass, the goal of the research itself will tell you what is it that you are meant to achieve. Now, once you've got the aim, then you go out and you really go and read a little bit about your research topic and your goal. So in other words, now you go out and say, let me go and see and read, what others before me have said about the same problem. Because sometimes as researchers, you don't have to come up with a new, novel idea. It's something that somebody else has researched, but you're just improving on it, you are critiquing it, and so on. So you're going to realize that when you do literature review, you then begin to read a little bit more about what others before you or just at their level have done, which is something that might just become more of interest to you or less of interest to you. Now, it is at this point where you can then start identifying what we call a hypothesis, or hypothesis. So it is where you are starting to build in assumptions or allegations, because now you are reading and you're realizing that, look, it looks like people don't realize this, or it looks like there's a relationship between this and that, or it looks like this has not been looked into, this angle has not been looked into. Now, here, when you read literature, you are beginning to form an opinion for yourself and therefore making your own allegations. Let's just call them allegations, assumptions, and hypotheses. All these are concepts that you are going to discuss a lot more as we go along. But it is at this point where you are now forming or formulating a hypothesis. Now, the idea why we're sharing this, ladies and gentlemen, is as a researcher, you're going to realize at the end of the program that you speak differently. You go to some meetings at times and people say, hypothetically speaking. I'm sure some of you might have heard that. What they mean is, I'm just giving a hypothesis, but they may not really mean the hypothesis in the technical, sense of the word. So you now going to find yourself having to know what this hypothesis is, so that next time when you say hypothetically speaking, you are simply saying, just as an assumption, I'm not certain about what I'm saying. Somebody else can go and verify and go in and investigate further and come and tell us if this is correct or incorrect. This is, proved or disproved. That's what a hypothesis does. You know, you believe that this is the way, and then you turn around and say, oops, no, we were wrong. This is the findings because data tells us that. The fourth step of the process is what we call a research design. Now, at this point, it means you now develop what we call a plan to address the problem. And of course, its sub-problems. So a research design is a technical term that means a plan. You develop a plan. Now, in research, when you give me your plan as to how you're going to do certain things, we don't say you've given me a plan. We say you're given us a design, a research design. So that means you've given me a research plan. Now, you have to use this terminology for now, because that's what it is, you know, just to show, because anybody who takes their profession seriously, they always use jargon within their profession. And I'm sure people who are doing LLM here will also be able to tell us that that's what happens a lot in law, that you listen to people who are doing law, they will use, you know, the legal jargon from time to time. So a research design, ladies and gentlemen, here is a plan that you put together to demonstrate how you're going to address the problem and its sub-problem. Once that is done, you then move into a stage we call data collection. There's a very interesting, and we always say it depends on who we talk to. Other people say this is data, other people say this is data. So I think it depends on which one is it. I think if you talk to the mobile suppliers like your MTN in South Africa and your Vodacom and your Telkom and their Cell Cs, I think they provide you with data. Do they provide you with data? I'm not sure. But at this point, it's a point at which you are now putting in a data collection. So you go out, you organize, and you go out, you collect information from those people that or if it's people, otherwise, if it's also objects, that's where you now collect information or data. And you organize it into, you know, related to the problem. So in other words, you look at the problem and you look at the data that goes with that problem and you organize it accordingly. Then you move into what you call analysis, data analysis, which in some instances is one stage, you know, that is data collection and data analysis, but it doesn't really matter for me whether you separate the stages, because you can collect data and then move on and then start analyzing the data, which then means the data that has been collected is being analyzed related to the problem again. So you want to understand what is it that the data is telling you when you analyze it against the problem. So you've got the problem here and you look at the data. How do you read the two together? So at that point, we'll start looking at how do you then do collection and how do you then do analysis of data. Then at the end of it all, you are then required and expected to do research report. So when we get to the research report, that then becomes a proposal that you have put together. And if you run all these processes at the end, when you sit with data that you have now analyzed, that means you are now giving us a research report. So which then means application, you know, you now interpret the meaning of the data as they relate to the problem. So basically at this level now, you tell us what is it that this data means in the context of the problem that you're investigating. So the difference between this report and the proposal is in the proposal, you tell us what you are going to do. In the report, you tell us what you have done. So in other words, you tell us, this was the aim, this was the literature, this was my plan, this was how I collected data, this is how I analyzed data, and this is what it tells me. This is at the report level. At the proposal level, you tell us, this is my topic, this is my aim, this is what the literature that I'm using, this is how I'm going to plan to address the problem, this is what I'm going to use to collect data, this is what I'm going to do I'm going to use to analyze data, and this is how I'm going to report. So that's at the proposal level. And then at the research report level is, how did you do all this that you said you will do? So this is what, ladies and gentlemen, throughout our engagement will be occupying us. going forward. Please don't worry at this moment if you don't see quantitative, qualitative, validities and all, because I know now it's like, oh, but I actually wanted to hear about validity. I wanted to hear about whether this is quantitative, mixed methods. You know, we will get there. At the moment, we are still at the phase where we say, this is the layout of what we're going to try to cover for the duration of the period that will be interacting with each other. Any questions so far? I think we're going to pause here just to allow you now to engage on this submission. But this is where we'll pause for now so that at least we engage. But this is the layout once more of what we are going to try to cover for the duration of the year or the period. And in between all this work, we will be asking questions that are linked to the kind of work that you are doing. Because if you're going to read this without looking into what you guys are doing, then there will be no sense in why you are attending this. So please make sure that your time is worth your while and raise as many problems that relate to the work that you do as possible, because in so doing, we all learn. And those of you who will choose not to participate, from time to time we'll try you, but please don't complain when other people are going to dominate the stage, because they've got proposals in front of them and they want to move on with their lives. So you're all welcome to participate and no submission will be looked down upon. Diamond, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prof. I really appreciate. Now it's making sense. I did most of these things and all the stages in my proposal, but it never made sense like after you have explained everything the way you've done it. I just want to check with you. My questions will be asked maybe in the coming time because we haven't yet arrived at that stage. But I want to see, do we have a timetable as to when these meetings will be, so that we can just spare time aside? Because like right now, I am getting off the platform because there is another that I have here. So I just want to check if there is a timetable or a lineup of when, how often we'll be meeting and when. Thank you.
Yes, let me whilst I'm going to take, is it Amu? Confirm that at the end of this session, if you will still be here, Godfrey and Kagiso will be able to tell you how we're going to move ahead. But yes, there will be a scheduling of when and how we're going to meet, throughout the year. But maybe there will be the right people to speak about that than I do. Amu, you had your hand up. Please go ahead. Or is it something that you wanted to ask?
Yes, Prof. Thank you. I think the session is so beneficial for somebody like myself who is in the early stages of the research proposal. As early as I'm still grappling with which topic or which direction to go in terms of my topic. But I just wanted to ask, I lost connectivity earlier on. Are these slides going to be available for us at a later stage? Thank you.
Okay. I'm also going to defer that to Godfrey. I think because he's going to be your contact person throughout the period that we'll be interacting. So please, stay a little bit, for the few minutes to allow him to address all those logistical issues. But in essence, we would like to have you throughout the year, basically.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
And is there anybody else who would like to interact with this discussion? Anything? And like I said, there are no limitations in terms of how far you can be. Other people, you can tell now, they said we're just about to start. Other people are saying, well, I'm already at the data collection stages, So it's very important to have this kind of a mixture of students, because eventually, it's about empowering each other. And of course, we can, as we said, the process is cyclical. So you can go forward and come back and fix and so on and so on, up until the point that you now have a final product. So nobody should really feel like, oops, you know, I'm so behind or I'm so ahead and so on. So there's really no race, and that's the beauty of research as well. New information always come into the fore. I'm going to give, before I give Godfrey, I'm going to give Hlobisile. You've been very generous today with your own research discussion. So you're right you can take the podium before I give to Godfrey. Go ahead.
No, thank you, Prof. Thank you so much for explaining it. You've answered my question. Remember earlier on, I said, do I put a conclusion or not? But you've answered it in this way, that it is called a research report. It's not a conclusion. So that's what I needed clarity on. So thank you so much. Yeah, and also thanks for the guideline in terms of the research topic. I know that every time I keep listening to this thing, I keep listening, but today it was simplified that I need to be specific and have a niche market where I can go and have a researchable research and be able to collect all my data. Thanks so much. So I'm going to go back. I am energized again. That confidence has been restored, and I'm going to go back and redo this. Hopefully next time when we have another session, I'll give you a different answer on where I am now.
We will hold you to that. We won't forget about that commitment.
Thank you.
My name is Kagisho. We will be assisting you guys throughout the sessions that we'll be having. You received an invite from your email today. So that will be the process of receiving the future invites. Please just check your My Life email. We'll be sending invitations to that My Life email. But in case, if you also want to have a one-on-one session with Prof, you could make an appointment. Then we will schedule according to Prof's availability. We also have one-on-one consultation, you and the Prof, but that only takes for 30 minutes. But in any case, if you have anything, I have supplied my email address. So you could see the email address on the chat box. And then if you have anything, you can just email me as well. Thank you very much for an interactive session today. And thank you very much for participating. I just wanted to confirm with the participants, the time that we have scheduled today, is it convenient? Can we continue at the time? Thank you very much.
Hi, Kagiso. Hello.
Yes. Hello, I'm with you.
Kagiso, I just checked my emails. I don't see your email. Do you have my email?
Yeah, it will be from Mpafudi.
Mpafudi.
Not from yeah.
Okay.
MPH.
And then
Yeah.
okay, Mpafudi.
Yeah, it will be
And
from
then
Mpafudi.
yes, I agree with the
But
time.
if
The
you
time
didn't
is
receive
okay.
anything, just send me an email as well. I will make sure that you receive future invitations as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? You guys now are aware of the one-on-one consultations with Prof as well. And then we will also provide you with the schedule. We'll also put a advert on my UNISA. You will also see there's adverts on my UNISA with the links as well, so that you can join anytime in case your email is not open and so on. But that will only happen from next week. But if you still can't find anything, please make use of our email address. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.